Okay? I'm just going to jam a little bit at the beginning of this. This is lesson 15. All right, so welcome to lesson 15. Dave Hill coming at you with our lesson today. So you'll notice when I was playing there, you probably listened for a while and you thought, wow, that's kind of cool. It's bluesy. It kind of fits over the chords, feels good, right? Or maybe you thought it sucked. I don't know. But what I was trying to show you there is that I was just playing. I could have done a lot more in terms of the scale choices that I could have drawn on, but I really just tried to stick with pentatonics in that particular example because I wanted to show you how effective the use of pentatonics can be, even when you have nice jazzy chords like I was kind of playing against. I was playing over major seventh chords and minor seventh chords. But there's just something about the simplicity of a pentatonic scale and the way that it kind of just lets you get directly to the most important notes of the key in a lot of cases. And the lack of options in a way of the scale, because there's only 5 notes, kind of makes it a little easier to connect melodies. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to play exercises that deal just with pentatonics, just so you get more skill at seeing all your pentatonic shapes in one position. So what I've done, I know we've covered these before, but I wanted to go back and review them now. I've written out the 5 major pentatonic shapes on the board over here. Okay, so once you take a look at them, you can see that I've got numbers, and these numbers refer to the pentatonic systems that relate exactly to the major scale systems that relate to the cage systems. We've talked about that a while, but so if you've learned your caged chord system, remember that this is going to be what we would consider to be a pattern 4 shape, which is based off the E form, right? And it's the reason I call it pattern 4 is because in the cage system, the C chord is the first chord, which is right within this scale shape right here. This next form here, the A form, is pattern 2, right here, and so on and so forth. The next form of the cage system is the G form, and there's the roots in the G form relating to the major pentatonic shape. And then pattern 4 would be right here, and that's off the E form, as I was just explaining. And then finally pattern 5 is right there. So the logic of the fingering number system still makes sense, and it's still consistent, okay? So what I want to work on now is playing through a cycle of chords that are going to allow us to pretty much play over one position, play within one position, all the pentatonic shapes that we know. But we're going to use that to kind of get our fingers moving and to get a little bit more skill at connecting one on top of another, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to play, first of all, I want you to start with pattern 3, okay? I want you to start with pattern 3, major pentatonic. Now, in this case, we got to be there's a lot of variety of chords that you can play C major pentatonic over. It doesn't just fit a C major chord. It doesn't just fit a C7 chord. It fits a variety of other chords. It can fit over A minor. It can fit over A7. It can fit over E minor. It can fit over D minor. We can get into all of that. But for right now, I'm just going to have us play C major pentatonic over a C major chord. We're going to modify that in a little bit and give us some other options. Okay, but I want you to do specifically a sequence. Okay, and the sequence is going to be a group of 4. Okay, so I'll watch my fingers and I'll show you what that means. It's going to be 4 notes at a time. Up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up the scale, okay? And then you ascend to the next 4 notes up the scale. Right? And so forth. Okay, so it's going to be like that. Okay, when you get to the top, that's going to be the spot where you want to come back down and reverse it. Now, what we're going to do now is the next chord is going to come up and the progression is going to be an F chord. We're going to go through a cycle of 4s, okay? And an F chord is perfect because it's perfectly on top of an F major pentatonic position right here. Here's our F major pentatonic position. As you can see, it's right within the pattern we were just playing of C major pentatonic. So when you've come down from the C major pentatonic, I want you to jump to the root here and go up the F major pentatonic using the group of 4 as well. But now you're in the key of F. And as you ascend to the highest note in this position, which is the C, you come back down and reverse it. Now you're probably going to have to pick up the bottom notes again. And then that should give you enough time now to move to the B flat position because we're going up in 4. So a 4th up from B flat, or from F, is B flat. So now that makes you move over to the pentatonic position, pattern number 4. And then you do the same sequence. In the key of B flat. And so forth, right? So we're going to continue this through the cycle of 4s all the way through B flat, goes up to E flat, goes up to A flat, and then after we hit the key of A flat, which we're going to be using pattern 5, we're going to turn around and start over again. So that's going to be a good exercise for us to really get these patterns down and really, like we did in our last lesson, learn how to take a sequence and move through different keys within one position. So let's go over this slowly, starting from C, a group of 4 like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Back down. Now we're going to go to F, starting on the root. 3, 4. Back down. Okay, we're going to go to B flat now. 3, 4. Back down. Then we're going to go to E flat. We go up a 4th. 3, 4. A flat. Here we go. Starting on the A flat in this case, the fourth string. 3, 4. Now reverse. Back down. Okay? Okay. So now that we've got the sequences that we're going to play under our fingers, we're going to see if we can apply them directly over to the progression. We can see the progressions that I've got. I've got 8 bars of C major, 8 bars of F major, 8 bars of B flat major. These are just chords going up in fourths. 8 bars of E flat and 8 bars of A flat. Okay? And with our sequence of groups of 4, that should keep us going in one position pretty effectively. Now it might be a little too fast for us, but let's see what it's going to sound like here first. Okay? I'm going to count in and see if you can keep up. We're going to be like this. Okay, so check this out. 3, 4. Now might be too fast. That's F. B flat. E flat. There's an A flat. Okay, so now that was probably a little bit too fast if you just learned the sequence and you're trying to transpose it through all these shapes. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit so we can do it with a little bit more, just a little bit more comfort. That changes our groove a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we're going to do it slower now. Here we go. 3 and 4 and. Here we go, F. Back down. B flat. E flat. A flat. C. And back to the beginning, right? So that was a little bit more comfortable for us, but you might find that there are some patterns. Even I messed up on the A flat going up on the last shape right there. So that would be a way that you could determine which patterns you kind of need to work on. I mean, for a lot of people, we get really used to playing certain combinations or certain shapes a lot. We might be very comfortable in, let's say, pattern 4 and let's say pattern 3, right? But maybe some of the shapes, maybe pattern 5 is not our favorite shape, and maybe you're not as comfortable in pattern 2, and you want to be able to work out in all 5 shapes every time you practice your scales, so that you really get fluid in all the different combinations and all the different positions, because you're going to need to use them up and down the neck all over the place. So another way you could even do it is you could just say, I'm going to start in one pattern of C and then just keep going up and up all the positions of C before the chord changes, and I have to go to the next scale, which would be F. So let's see how that would look. So I'm going to start my lowest pattern of C. And at this point now, I'm just going to play up and down the scale. I'm not going to do the sequence as much. I'm just going to play up and down each pattern and move up the neck and come all the way up the neck until the next chord comes up, which would be F on bar 9, and then I'll be playing wherever I happen to be. Let's see what happens with that. So I'm going to start right here in C. 3, 4. There's an F. Here comes B flat. E flat. C again. F. The big thing is to keep going through the patterns. Try to shift. Shift to different positions in each key. B flat. Here comes the E flat. Okay, so that's another way to incorporate all 5 positions of the major pentatonic, is to have a set order of chords that you memorize or that you write on something and you're looking at it, but you try to force yourself to keep playing through the positions of the pentatonic scales. Okay? And you might find that you go to positions where you're really comfortable and you have a lot of fluidity and you can move up and down, then you get to another position and you're there for a second and you kind of don't have as much to play, and you can kind of determine that there's some scales maybe that you don't know as well. So that's something that you want to practice, okay, to get better at. Now, there's another way of looking at pentatonics, and this is going to be just a way to create some different colors with pentatonics. You don't always have to play the pentatonic from the root of the pentatonic scale. It actually sounds nice to use the pentatonic variation over the top of each one of these major chords. I'm going to say, or I like to sometimes play a pentatonic up a fifth from the root of the major chord. So in this case, instead of playing C over C, I'm going to play a G major pentatonic. And that will give me a different flavor of the C sound. It's going to give me a flavor that's going to have a little bit more of a major 7 sound, because let's take a look at G major pentatonic against C. Makes it sound like a G, like a C major 6, 9, because the G major pentatonic would over C would equate to the 5th, the A would be the 6th, the B would be the 7th, the D would be the 9th, and the E would be the 3rd. So you have more, it creates a jazzier major 7th sound or major 9 sound when you play G major pentatonic over C. So we're going to do that now. We're going to play up a 5th on every one of these. So on over F, we're going to play C major pentatonic. Over B flat, we're going to play F pentatonic. Over E flat, we're going to play B flat. And over A flat, we're going to play E flat. Okay, so sometimes you're going to want to substitute one pentatonic over the top of another chord to create a different color. So let's try that. Okay? So let's go ahead and just improvise again, but now you're going to be hearing a different effect with the pentatonic scale. So check this out. I'm going to start off playing G major pentatonic. I'm going to start off by playing G major pentatonic. Here we go. 3, 4. Now I'm playing C major pentatonic over the F. Here comes F major pentatonic over the B flat. Here's B flat major pentatonic over the E flat. So you can hear the effect of using these substitution pentatonics or transposing a different key on the top of a major chord for a more extended effect. So you really want to get good at using pentatonics because they don't just have to sound like rock and roll. They can sound like country or jazz or blues or fusion or whatever you want when you're playing pentatonics. It's just being smarter about how you use them and more creative with how you use them. So you want to keep practicing your pentatonics. They're not just a simple beginning guitar scale. They actually have a lot of sophisticated potential. All right, so here we go back to pentatonics. I'll see you later.